it's time for us to start painting our tiles. And so we are going to be thinking about radial balance, where our design goes kind of in a circular pattern around a central point. We could have multiple radial designs on our tiles, or we might just start in the center and move from there. We are going, if you're at school with me, we're going to each choose 3 tiles. Or if you're doing this at home from this video, you might have some tiles. This technique also would work perfectly well on any kind of paper, or one of my personal little hobbies is doing the same technique on rocks. And so here's a few that I just grabbed, and you can see that the designs kind of start in the center on this one and kind of goes around at that central point. And this one has 3 circles in the middle, and then designs around that. This one again from one central point in the center. And this one, because of its shape, I decided we would do central radial design up there, and then there's some other designs in there. So we can get creative with this. So, choosing 3, just because of the colors I have handy right here to start with, I think, let's see, what am I going to get rid of? I think I'm going to move this reddish brown one away, and I'm going to go with these 3. And so this is going to have multiple layers, so we're not going to finish our designs all at one time. This would be a good base coat. If we pull back in one of these that we can look at, you can see that some of these circles were done and then had an opportunity to dry, and then more designs were put on top of the dried paint to make it more intricate and more detailed. So that's how we're going to start. We're going to use some just everyday materials to do our dot painting with. What we have right here, I have a glue stick cap, and this could still be attached to a glue stick too. That would totally work. But this just happens to be the cap. And I have a pencil. We're going to use the eraser end, nice kind of fresh eraser, so it's a good circle. And then we have the point too for tiny dots. So there are special tools that you can use for this type of painting, but you don't really need them. You can do it with all kinds of different things. So I'm going to start with some white. And so I haven't really given a whole lot of thought to my designs. It might be a good idea to sketch something out on paper first to get some ideas. Also, if you want to practice before you go right to your tile, if you, let's see, if I'm going to dip this in my white, I could just try on this paper I have underneath and see how that's going to work. And so you want your paint to be kind of runny, I guess, not too thick like our artist's acrylic. So we're just using the acrylic that comes in a little bottle like this. And so let's see, I'll hope that I can keep my head out of our image right here, our video, so that you can kind of see. And you can make some guidelines if you want lightly with a pencil on here. I'm just gonna look at that and eyeball it. You can see that got a little bit of an oval shape going there. That's okay. So I'm just gonna again print, and that one needed more paint. So yes, sort of trial and error here to see what is the best. And if you go straight down and lift straight up, it's let's see, let's do this one a little bit differently so it's not all the same. I think I'll do, whoops, and look, that might happen. This paint is almost too runny right here. So if something like that happens, what we're gonna do, now I don't happen to have any water handy right here, but we're gonna, a wet paper towel or tissue, I could probably just wipe that right off. Yep, good to go. Easy to fix mistakes. Let's try that again and see how this has gotten a little bit messy. I can also, and this is the way we're going to change colors too, just wiping off the paint. We don't really want to add more water in. Let's try that again. You're seeing all kinds of things that could happen. So let's see, that's a little bit better. And you can see it kind of flattens out a little bit more as it sits. So this one, you can see I'm kind of just putting a larger circle in each corner. And so you want to watch for your hands too, so that's something to keep in mind, to not really get your hands in the way. And so I can think, do I want to go to a different color, a different size? I think I'm going to do all these base circles with, well, not all of them, but some of them with my white. And actually, since I'm done with the white with this circle for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off so it's ready for a new color. I grabbed right where the paint was, so now I've got a messy hand here. Oh, well, let's see. All right, so let's try out the pencil, see what we got there. And I am going to actually go to the green. I'm going to get a little green. And one thing that I have found, if you don't push all the way to the bottom of wherever your paint is, you're going to get a better circle. If you push all the way down, it kind of spreads the paint off of the center of your tool that you're using. And so you'll get a better circle if you do that. And also if you don't push all the way. I'm using a light touch, and you can see I got 2 circles out of that. I'm not loving the way that green looks against this sort of taupey gray, but I had limited colors to work with, and you can kind of see. I think I'm going to like it against the other colors, though. So you can see I'm rotating this tile as I go around, too. And that way, my hand is not going to go onto that wet paint. So this takes some focus and concentration while you're adding these dots. I'm going to move this one away. And so maybe I want a big green dot in the center of this one. You might have something even larger to make a circle with, maybe a larger glue stick cap. This is all I have handy right here, so I'm just going to use this one again. Remember, I just wiped off that white paint. So let's see. All right, that green is a little bit better of a consistency for me. A little, not quite as runny as the white. So we're going to move that there. And I have given no thought to my designs here, and so I feel like I need to use this green again. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try that, see if I can get it. Oh, that's a pretty good dot without re-dipping. Sometimes you can get more than one. And then I'm going to rotate this around. Let's try that. All right, and I think I'm going to need to re-dip for this one. All right. And so if I had multiple colors, I may choose a different color at this point, or I think I'm going to go around with some white again on this one, just to show you some additional, maybe the point of the pencils for some tiny dots. And so let's turn this around so I can reach it a little better. Now this can be, some people really like doing these tiny dots. Sometimes you can do a few and then you need a little break because it's a lot of concentration. But you can see the pencil tip makes really tiny little dots. But this is what really adds a lot of detail to your design. And if you're younger than me, which if you're in my class, you're definitely a lot younger than me, you're going to be able to see this a little bit better probably. I don't have my reading glasses on, so this is a little bit tricky. But you can see how I went around that green dot with these teeny tiny white dots. And sometimes you can get multiple dots out of it. And the more up and down perpendicular to your tile that you hold the pencil or any tool you're using, the cleaner your dots are going to be. And once in a while you'll find that something wasn't quite even. That happens to me all the time. Some people are really precise with this and measure things out. I just go with it. For instance, if I couldn't fit a dot over here, I would just go around the rest. And once you have all those designs on there, no one is going to notice. And so this is kind of how we're going to get started with this. And you can add more big dots, you can add more small dots. Your designs will look better with the variety of sizes and different layers. And a little while we will, or on another day, we'll look at adding some more layers onto our tiles. But this is how we're going to get started with step 1.